Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Going to go over our Forex trades for today, Thursday, March 13th. Was some economic data. We got a bunch last night, and we got some early this morning. Last night we saw China came out with weak data, weaker than expected. And then Australia came out. They had better employment numbers than expected. And then this morning, retail sales at 8:30 in the morning, which we wanted to avoid. So we traded after that number came out. Retail sales were a little better than expected here in the States. We just got one trade, though, so it wasn't as active as we were hoping. And you'll see here the trade. And unfortunately, we got out way too early, but we'll kind of tell you why we were thinking of why we got out, and what the thought process was. This is Australian dollar, US dollar. We were long this 0.90762. As you see there, we picked up 4.4 pips. It was a relatively easy trade. I mean, we were really never down a whole bunch. Pretty much went in our favor right off the bat, but we felt like we were buying right in an area that could be viewed as resistance. We have this 0.9075 level, which it came to yesterday. Around early evening, I should say. And then it acted as resistance all through the night. Around midnight, it tried to break through. It failed, pulled back down. Then early this morning, around 5 o'clock in the morning, tried to get through it, failed, pulled back down. So a couple of thoughts here is, one, it could go to it a third time, fail and sell off, or it could go to it a third time, break through it. In hindsight, it's almost easier not to go long this trade and just avoid the signal. We did take it. Just grabbed a real quick 4.4 pips. I think at one point maybe we were up 5.5 pips, something like that. But literally as soon as we got out, within a few minutes it started to pop. Maybe within 10 minutes it started to pop. And as you can see there, it popped about 25 pips. Not quite, about 20 pips from where we sold it, where we got out, about 25 pips from where we bought it. So unfortunately, we did leave a bunch on the table, but it was a difficult trade. It wasn't an easy trade by any means, because this thing could have tried to break through, failed, and we could have been looking at a 25 pip loss easily. And that's we're not going to risk more than 30 pips. We could have got stopped out very easily on this trade. So we'll take it. We'll move on. I mean, it's better than a loss. Nothing great, but better than a loss. So. And unfortunately, it was the only trade that we got this morning. So that's it. As far as long-term trades, it was active yesterday. I had about 6. They actually were pretty much even. We were down most of the day with them until one last night that came out with some news from, I think it was the news from Australia, which popped and helped and got us to pretty much about flat. Or actually, we're up a little bit. And then after, if you pay a pip commission at all, it'd be relatively flat. What else? No long-term signals this morning. Yes, there was one that you'd be in if you were looking, could possibly be in. I should say it was a bank signal, so it leaves a lot to interpretation. That would be relatively flat at this moment, maybe down a hair. But you may not even be in it, depending on how you interpret the signal. And there was one long-term algo trade signal, which we didn't take just because it was after the 10 o'clock number, so we avoided that, figuring there's not going to be much catalyst to make it move. Those long terms, you do want some catalyst to make them pop, in your direction. If you don't, you could be in the thing for quite a period of time, especially if any economic data that's coming is not high volatile. You could be in the thing for a few days. So we like to be in them if we know a number's coming within a few hours or something like that. Anyway, so we'll wrap it up. If you're looking for any other signals, they'll be popping up. We don't know when. And if you're still trading now, good luck, and we'll be back assuming there's some action tomorrow. Have a great evening.